You know that moment when you finally say no to something, and right after, your chest tightens, your stomach twists, and this heavy guilt shows up like you've done something wrong. You have been juggling work, family, responsibilities, doing your best to hold everything together, then a friend asks for a favor. You hesitate, you think about everything on your plate, and for once, you say, I can't today, and you feel this wave of guilt hit you. But underneath it, something else shows up too. A small sense of relief, almost like a weight slowly lifting off your shoulders. That moment, that guilt mixed with the relief is important. It's a sign that healing from people-pleasing isn't just possible, it's already starting. Welcome back to Dose of Confidence, your little boost of clarity and courage. If you watched the last video, you know we explored what people-pleasing is, why we do it, and how it shows up in our lives. Today, we're taking the next step. We're talking about what people-pleasing costs us, how healing actually begins, and how to start setting boundaries without feeling guilty. My hope is that by the end of this video, you'll feel a little more allowed to choose yourself without guilt. In case you missed it, here is a quick recap. People-pleasing isn't the same as being kind. It's when fear drives you to say yes, even when you don't want to. It can make you anxious, exhausted, and unsure of your own needs. It steals joy, and it can make your self-worth feel like it lives in the hands of others. And it's not love. Love is honest, grounded in truth, and free. The Bible says, love rejoices with the truth. People-pleasing often avoids truth to keep the peace, which is why, even though it might look like love, it's really rooted in fear. Even the small, everyday acts of people-pleasing come with a cost. Over time, you might notice more anxiety, more stress, a quiet frustration building towards people you actually care about. You may feel tired more often, unsure of what you really want, or stuck in a relationship that doesn't feel balanced anymore. It's like running a long race while carrying something heavy. You're helping, you're giving, you're showing up, but the weight doesn't disappear. And eventually, that weight starts to cost you your peace, your energy, and sometimes even your sense of who you are. When people-pleasing becomes the main thing guiding your choices, it can take over your life. You start measuring your value by how accepted or approved you feel. And that's not true. Your worth was never meant to come from people. It comes from God, from His love for you. People-pleasing can leave you feeling drained and frustrated. It can leave relationships feeling shallow instead of truly connected. You give a lot, but you're not really seen, not as your true self. But here's the good news. Healing is possible. Healing from people-pleasing doesn't mean becoming colder, tougher, or less kind. It means learning that safety doesn't have to come from approval anymore. Healing begins by anchoring your identity somewhere steady, not in opinions, not in reactions, but in God. He said, I have loved you with an everlasting love. When that truth starts to sink in, other people's approval slowly loses its grip. Your value no longer rises and falls with their moods. Another important part of healing is letting go of shame. People-pleasing isn't a flaw. It's a strategy, something you learn to stay safe, connected, or loved. You don't heal by judging it. You heal by understanding it, by saying, I did this to survive and I'm allowed to grow beyond it now. Reconnecting with your internal signals is another key step. You notice the tightness before you say yes, the tiredness afterwards, the relief mixed with guilt when you finally say no. Those feelings are signals, quietly pointing you back to yourself. And slowly you learn something important. Discomfort isn't danger. Saying no might feel awkward. It might bring guilt or anxiety, but that doesn't mean something bad is about to happen. Most of the time, it's just discomfort, not a threat. Healing also means updating old beliefs. Beliefs like, if I say no, I'll be rejected. Conflict ruins relationships. But the truth is, healthy relationships can survive honesty. Your needs matter. Discomfort doesn't mean abandonment. And here's something worth thinking about. Disagreements aren't the enemy. Think about it. Do you really enjoy conversations with someone who always agrees? Who never shares a real opinion? Probably not. Honesty brings depth. Boundaries bring respect. And being real even when it's not comfortable, creates connection that actually lasts. Part of healing is also learning to let others feel disappointed. The moment after you set a boundary, when there is that silence or that surprise, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means you showed up as a whole separate person. You don't have to explain or soften or take it back. Silence after a boundary isn't rude, it's complete. And then kindness gets redefined. Kindness isn't agreeing with everything. It's honesty with care, warmth with truth. Healing isn't becoming less kind, it's becoming less afraid. So let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls, they are lines of self-respect. They sort inside your body. That tight chest, that rushed yes, that early guilt, those are fear signals. Before speaking, it helps to get clear with yourself. What feels draining here? What feels like too much? What are you actually willing to give? You don't need an immediate answer. A pause is powerful. I'll get back to you. Let me check my schedule. That space helps. When you do speak, you can be calm and clear at the same time. No excessive apologies, no long explanations. Remember that over-explaining invites negotiation. Discomfort may show up in you or in them. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. Adults can hold disappointment without you fixing it. Even Jesus modeled boundaries. He stepped away to pray. He didn't meet every demand. Boundaries are not unloving, they are wise. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They protect what God entrusted to you, your time, your energy, your life. Learning to say no is not selfish. It's honest. It's brave. You don't lose love by setting boundaries. You make room for real connection, for relationships where you're known, not just needed. You experience the freedom of being truly yourself. Remember, you are loved, you are enough, and choosing yourself is not only okay, it's essential. If this video helped you, feel free to subscribe and share it with someone who might need it. And let me know what other topics you'd like to hear about next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.